This is your weekend market review for Saturday, December 9th, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. XP Realty, aka The Trading. This is your weekend market review for Saturday, December 9th, 2023. Hopefully you're having an amazing weekend. At this point, going forward, we have an amazing week of information, data, FOMC, you've got it all. Check out this full review to get insights into what to expect this week. As we've said many, many times, the markets are always tricky, right? It's meant to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. Please be careful, navigate carefully. So if you're new to the channel, please check out the Discord room. Link is in the description below. I've told a lot of folks and said this earlier. Check out the YouTube channel of Randy Howe. His psychology on trading is crucial to understand how you interpret the markets. Remember, your action potential and emotions are just choices that come to brain based on the past and how you've always reacted. And if you have certain sabotaging programs where you're all or nothing, hyperachiever, hyper-rational, avoider, reckless, all these things, they take over. And when they take over, you act versus think. Remember, we don't want to jump into fight and flight. You want to be very cognizant when you're trading, know what's going on, and the expectations. So again, new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links description below. Appreciate it. Follow on the website, thetradingagent.com. Get your Marcus account. Get your Back to Basics education series. Get your interactive brokers. Please move your brokerage at some point away from Schwab. Some of these guys, I think one or two of them will go out of business. Do not be surprised. Also, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube. As we talked about on Twitter, check us out. Man, CTA's all in. Fed Watch Tool coming up this week. They're expecting nothing. Pause. May, June is when we're starting to see the potential for a potential cut. Why are they cutting? Because everything's awesome? Bitcoin. Come on, load it up. Meaning, load the program. Be careful up here. I've seen a lot of folks that I'm talking to, and they're just uber bullish. And not to say that it can't go higher, but I would be careful chasing this action. I would look for more of a pullback. I know there's all these institutions and hedge funds, not hedge funds, but ETFs coming out. I mean, as we've talked about, the market is smart. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Do you think big boys who were anticipating were buying up here? Or are they buying down here? Is the rumors now to get everybody to jump in at the highs? Now, again, I don't know if we're going how much higher, what the near term is, but take it slow, okay? Take it slow. Be careful. Please don't chase. Oil, we talked about this 1,000 times. Global recession is coming. Demand drops. OPEC can cut literally endlessly, but look at what's happening. The price is coming down. Now, again, do we get negative futures prices? I'm not really expecting that. No, I'm not. But I do expect price to come down. When the Feds pivot, that's the time to go all in commodities, gold, probably even the Bitcoin, all that stuff. Natural gas, as we talked about, it's been an absolute dumper. Please be careful. Please be careful. All right, let's start it with the dollar. Talked about holding the 29 levels. So far, so good. Dollar make you holler. People are like, whoa, what's going on? And it's like, well, out of a global economy, the dollar is the strongest. It's the strongest turd in the pool, so it's floating higher. Excuse my language if that bothers you, but that's the reality. TLT, we talked about the potential for a bottom. We knew it was going to bounce. Went higher than I thought. Things are slowing down. This is where it gets a little dicey. Again, I've never said go and short treasuries down here. We said potential for a long trade if you want to get into it. This is where, again, you make mistakes. No one's going to be perfect in trading. We knew it'd bounce. How much? I'm not going to chase treasuries up here, but I'd be watching the action. It's gone pretty fast. Moved pretty quick, pretty fast. So be careful. That's all I'd say. Again, we expect yields to go lower if the Fed's cut and the recession comes, but will it be a straight line move? The VIX, holy bananas. I know some of the boys and the girls in the Discord room took the last couple of days off, like myself, just anticipating CPI, Feds, PPI, all this information next week, and OPEX. The market wasn't probably, probability-wise, going to fail or drop big Thursday or Friday. It didn't. More chop. Unbelievable. Look at the VIX. Unreal. Vixen, lowest close in a long time, below 16. You got to be kidding me. The Vivix, we talked about this starting to wake up, but then here it came right back. Watch for the double bottom. Watch for a 79 price. SPY, they got it to close at 460. Got to give it credit. New highs. Volume a little sneaky. Just be careful. Again, I don't trust. Again, look at the end of the day. They came in and pounded out. Going into OPEX. Again, buy the rumor, sell the news. This is dangerous. But again, consolidation could lead to a retest. We've talked about how this reminds me of 1973. We'll see what happens. QQQ closed back at near. Again, it's lagging here up in these 390s. Keeping an eye on it. Same kind of thing, selling in the close. IWM, we talked about it lagging and then playing catch up and just failing up here in the 187s on a mother effing cop, right? That's the song. I'm just using the lyrics. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Dia, holding up pretty well. Can't argue that. Up at the highs. And highs meaning relative. Oops. What did I do there? Oh, I just hit something stupid. We'll see what happens here because we're back at not near highs, not at highs. Gold, again, this is why it's like treasuries. Like, you just don't chase Bitcoin. Like, don't chase the pops. When they start ripping, wait for pullbacks. Now here you go to the 20-day. Now if you want to start playing some, I don't know, trades, again, I'd probably wait. Be careful. Know your levels. Again, I love gold when the Feds pivot. This is going to get really volatile here. And I've said, watch the miners and silver. They're not confirming this action. This is the problem. And again, maybe gold does try to break out, but is it actually going to go bonkers if the QT game is going on and liquidity is being pulled out of the market? Because these are liquidity indicators, in my opinion. Silver acting like it. GDX, again, we talked about the miners lead the metals. GDX should be way up there. GDXJ should be like 40s, 50s. It's not. So knowing that, be careful. AG, we talked about all these names, had some bounces in them. Again, but if you zoom out, they're all just big, choppy, sloppy ranges. AEM, another name, holding up better than others, but again, just big, choppy ranges. Newmont, this should be the biggest miner in the world, should be on fire. Look at this thing. Nothing. It was at 85 in 2022. 39, and still can't catch a bid down here. Get out of here. At some point it looks right. Pass and not dust. If you bought dust, we talked about that. It could be a trade there down in like the 11s. Again, I don't know if I really want to short miners as the best trade, but we talked about miners will get crushed. But when the Feds pivot, that's when you call their bluff and you start buying this stuff. All right, TSM, watching the 100 level. See what happens here. Micron, we talked about this reoccurring pattern with long wicks. Long wicks, I don't know, kind of retest. Now it's below the 20-day. AMD, AIO. It just never gets old. I'm impressed it's back up here. Got to give it credit. Again, don't have a position on it. But it makes sense to me to watch this area near 130. NVIDIA, this is why I was glad I didn't short it on Wednesday. It did drop and said I missed it, but I'm really looking for the 20-day. First drop. 20-day, somewhere in this range, 474.80. Intellectual property, we talked about it failing on the 45, 44 level. So far, so good. Chopping around, but this is the thing. It's just, will these all fail until when? Probably you got to get in the FOMC, you got to get some CPI, you got to get some stuff going. All right, SMH, chopping around. Adobes, talked about the 620 level on the weekly, 20-day, getting tight. Apple, again, I don't know how and why this is rallying, but now you're back testing an old trend line. Here, let me zoom out. Where's this one? This one goes way back, doesn't it? Yeah, the way back machine. This trend line's probably not as important as we could make it be, but man, all gaps fill, I guess. Wow. Glad I'm just kind of watching. I stopped out of some stuff and just said, you know what? This isn't working. I'm not going to sit here and bury my head and say it can't go higher because of a trap. Because I've seen bull and bear traps. Like, you get new lows, then you rally back. Could we try to rally up towards the high and fail? That's possible. Amazon, keeping an eye on this thing, just chopping up here. CRM, again, gaps up on earnings. This feels like a distributive gap and chop. Guggenheim, this thing has just been absolute doggy. Nice shorting by some of the folks in the Discord room. Again, gets back up into the shoulder area. I mean, could you call this a complex head and shoulders? I like this one. Anything in this level with a tight stop. Meta, this thing has been lagging lately, catching back up near term. We'll see. Microsoft, interesting, right? 20-day. NDAQ, I tried to tell you guys, watch the 55, 56 level. Kapow! How you like me now? And again, because we talked about why is NDAQ a short. Long term, I believe the NASDAQ exchange will have a tenth of the volume they have in time. Because again, nobody's going to be trading tech stocks. People don't understand it. It's going to be a commodity bull market that emerges from all this. I'm telling you. MicroStrategy, if Bitcoin holds up, MicroStrategy is the play. So again, if their market cap's worth $8 billion, they borrowed a bunch of money to buy Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues to rise, I don't know why you buy Bitcoin. You should be buying MicroStrategy. It's almost like a literally leveraged ETF. And then you could play it through options as well. Netflix, we talked about the 480 level failing on the weekly. So far, so good. Holding support, though, we talked about it's always, or not always, likely going to do that. Though roadblocks, man, chopping around here. Again, I like this thing when it's a teenager, when it gets crushed later. Tesla, Cybertruck, everybody's excited about it. I don't know. We'll see. It's highly shorted, so that's where it's one that's kind of a little careful. Costco, again, stopped out of this, up at the highs, getting tight, probably about to fail, because that's what it does. When I get mad and frustrated, knocked out, it goes. Starbucks, we talked about this as a global growth name, because again, like they're putting chains around everywhere in the country. Sorry, the world. Doesn't seem to be holding up. FedEx, Federal Express, finally breaks out on XDiv. Man, again, if you're watching it, keep on. And then people are talking about bull and bear traps. They can be multiple days. Just keep it on it. Caterpillar, like the short up here, took the profit and moved on. Said, you know what, just going to watch a little bit. Could we get the 100-day? Oof. We'll see. I mean, again, a lot of names in my mind. And there's some trades that are working, some are not. Nucor, we said the 170s. Looks good for a short. VALE, we talked about this as a global growth proxy. Just been flopping around. Arrow, copper, we talked about this being oversold due to rally. This is just a big choppy, sloppy mess. Keep an eye on it. CCJ, this has been a leader up. Uranium stuff, it's looking a little tired up here. Just got to call it what it is. CF, we like ag names a lot in time. But as we've talked about, throw the baby out the bathwater. When the market corrects, these names will get pounded. Just let them go. They're not really, and again, they're trading vehicles. If you want to trade in, trade out, trade in, trade out, trade in, go ahead. NTR, same thing. AA, we talked about another global growth proxy. Aluminum, not looking so hot right now. XLF, mind boggled that it did what it did, but you know what it does? Whatever you think it can't do, it probably can do at some point. Interesting action up here. I don't know why I didn't draw that last time, but fills this gap. Interesting. I mean, the thing that, to me, this is the thing. To me, banks had the biggest risk. Okay, chasing them up. People's chasing them up. JP Mo, double topping. Watch that. Morgan Stanley. We love the short in this 82, 83 area. Again, I mean, you tell me where the exact high is, and I'll tell you. Good guess. Because, again, it's not a perfect science. Watching this area tight. Bank of America, another one that looks real juicy to me. Real juicy, real juicy, real juicy. Watch this 30 area filling the gap. People are like, oh, it's breaking out. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Goldman Sachs, again, they rallied the banks on Friday, which was interesting. Again, stopped out of this, watching. Next, I mean, at this point, if it's not going to fail, then I'd be watching the gap fill. Please mind the gap, right? Please mind the gap. Okay. Got it. Oh my God. Otani just got 700 mil. You got, whoa. KRE got some of his rookie cards that are insanely bought cheaply. I like the guy. KRE, we talked about watching this 49 level. It's like, you got to be kidding me. All right, we'll see. Junior banks oversold, rally back. XBI, we talked about getting up. Someone was like, oh, it's going to fail down here. I'm like, okay. Again, I'm impressed that it's rallying, but now back into the VAP zone. Zoom in, zoom out, ten cuidado, be careful. Solar, we talked about all that money going in from the stimulus. All right, we'll see. A lot of these names, in my opinion, are absolute shorts because oil's going to get smoked. ENPH, same thing. if you short it at the highs, you get the high 5 award. We talked about giving credit to where it's due. But then we also talked about First Solar watching the 160s because we knew it was going to dead cat bounce. There you got that long wick trap, failed. HYG. Talked about this, another one. Anyone really want to buy corporate debt up here? You are high as a kite. Let's end it with oil names. Again, we talked about oil is going to be a problem for the feds. If OPEC keeps cutting, we are underinvested in it. Near term, it's going to be all over the place. UNG said, please leave this thing alone. People just seem to love to get burned. XOP, if you get bought the drips in the 930, 940 level, looking good. Broke below the 135. Keep an eye out for a dead cat bounce. I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks and bounces back, then fails. That's a typical formation. Like you're kind of seeing with ExxonMobil. Takes out like the low end of the range. Could it bounce back, chop around? Keep an eye on it. MPC, we said if you short this, the 150 is looking pretty good because gasoline demand is toasting. Here you go. Breaking below it. Valero, the same kind of thing. Just watching. Breaking, chopping, either or. Oxy, this thing's been absolutely cooked, and then Buffett's probably selling more calls. He's loving it. Da-da-da-da-da. Buffett's loving it. Now you're down into the support zone. We'll see what happens here. Near term, EQT, a lot of people said, you're an idiot. No, you shouldn't be selling the stock. And it's like, well, every time it hits 44, it seems to be failing. But and then it broke the trend. Now it's breaking the 200-day, and I'm the idiot. Okay, we'll see what happens here. End it with Flex LNG for the weekend recap. Chopping around. Holding support. I mean, again, long term, I think we're a big natural gas exporter. Don't mind this. I'll keep an eye on it. Again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, I always recommend folks who are looking at real estate, do yourself a favor. Hit me up. Check out some of my content. I guarantee at least give you some insight about buying and selling in this market. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Use the Calendly link. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.